How movies are made. Casual movie watchers may not know all the detail that goes into it. There's quite a bit. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Studio Sessions podcast. This week, we start a new series here on the podcast. And this was one that was highly requested in a poll I did on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, find the link in the show notes. I'm at Brooke Made Simple. And it is how movies are made. So it's going to be a whole series on the process a film goes through from beginning to end. And most casual movie watchers may not know all the detail that goes into it. There's quite a bit. There's quite a bit of procedure. There's quite a bit of process. It is definitely not something that happens overnight. And there's a lot of moving parts that happen. And so I'm excited to talk about it more, to break it all down. And if you are interested in this series, give this episode a like, share in the comments what part of the process you're most curious to see, and make sure you're subscribed so you see the rest of the episodes in this series. Most people watching a movie probably envision the film set. They envision a film set with cameras and mic operators and a director and the actors and the set pieces. There's actually a whole lot that happens before you ever get to a movie set. I'm sure some element of writing is also in that envisionment, but there's even more than just writing the film that goes into it before you ever get to the movie set. This is How Films Are Made, episode 1, From Idea to Script. Every film starts with someone having an idea. Not all of those ideas actually make it to becoming a film. So we're going to start with where movies really begin, the idea. If you love movies, or you've ever thought about making one, or you're just curious about how they're made, or you've ever wondered why some films take so long to be made, this series is for you. So we're starting at the beginning, the idea. Every film that's ever been made started with an idea. But hey, wouldn't that be cool? But where do the ideas come from? Where does the producer, the screenwriter, the director, whoever the filmmaker is that's coming up with this idea for this film, where do they get that idea? Well, it's where every creative gets their ideas. Real life experiences, books we've read, questions we want the answers to, scenarios that we find personally impactful, and just the occasional dream of an adventure. It can happen in a conversation with someone. It can happen in the middle of the night. It can happen anytime, anywhere, really with a thought from anybody. The form of the idea can even look different depending on what the idea is. I've had some ideas that were literally just a vision of a location. And that was the nugget of it that I had. I've had others that were so clear and detailed, it felt like it wrote itself. Or I was just answering a question of like, what would I do in that scenario? Or what would scare me the most? As I've mentioned, I am a horror fan. So then you move into turning that idea actually into something, right? It can't live with as an idea in your head forever if it's going to become a full-fledged film. It has to, at some point, develop. And this is where we get the development stage of filmmaking. The development stage puts the idea under a microscope and stretches it and pushes it to become whatever it's going to become. This is where you see, is there actually something usable under here? Is this something I can turn into something? Or does it need to ruminate more? Depending on the idea. Like, if all you have is just a place, that needs a little bit more development, right? You got to flesh out some things there still before you can move into even thinking about writing a script before you can even think about writing a script. So development pokes at those holes. Development goes, okay, what even is this idea at the end of this process? What is turning this into a movie, full feature length movie, actually look like? Or whatever the format's going to be, right? Is it going to be a short? Is it going to be a series, a TV series? What are we looking at? So that's what the development stage is for. You craft the idea, you hone in the details of that idea, and you really push to find what this idea actually is. Where is this taking this? Where can this go? What can I do with this? And that can be a process in and of itself. Especially, like I said, depending on what the form of the idea even actually is. This looks different depending on the movies. I mean, if you are adapting a book, the Harry Potter series has all 8 movies in the series already mapped out for them. They just had to adapt it. So there's differences in there, right? And some ideas are going to survive the development stage. Some ideas are not. A lot of people would probably be surprised to hear the number of movies that don't get made. Maybe less so nowadays, but for probably the entire film history, there has always been a significant amount of movies that do not end up getting made, that get stopped at some point in the process. Probably the most common point in the process for it to stop is the development stage, is somebody sharing this idea or not, when they find this doesn't seem like it's something I can take into anything, or I don't know where it's going right now, I'm not sure. Or somebody hearing it and going, I don't think that's ready yet. And then time only tells whether somebody comes back to that idea and continues trying to develop it or not. Okay, before we go any further through this episode, I want to take a minute and acknowledge the 1-year anniversary of the Like a Butterfly movie premiere. We did an amazing, really, really fun online movie premiere for Like a Butterfly. It was awesome. I cannot tell you guys how excited and nervous and excited and nervous I was to share this film with everyone. And I can't believe it's already been a year since then. It was a crazy year, but I'm so excited the film is out there. And I just wanted to acknowledge that 1-year anniversary because it was really, really special. So I am grateful for everybody that came to the Like a Butterfly premiere or has watched it since the premiere. If you have not and you would like to watch Like a Butterfly, link in the description to our website where you can rent or purchase it. Just click the link. It's really quick and easy. And I hope you enjoy the movie. And I hope you enjoy the rest of this episode. There's a lot of reasons a film might not get made. There's a lot of reasons a film might not make it past development stage. It could be the idea just was not formed enough yet, and the work that was put into it just couldn't quite get there. It just wasn't ready. Could be it's a great idea, practically and logistically a little more difficult, might take too much to actually make it happen. Or maybe it was such a new, unique idea and people just weren't ready to take chances on it. It could also be the script couldn't get its feet under it and couldn't get finished. And those are all possibilities that can happen, and that's something that you want to watch out for as a filmmaker. But those are some reasons that a film might not make it past development and may not actually end up getting made. The point in time where an idea turns into something tangible is in the writing phase. In the development stage, the writing can be something that is monumental for deciding how a film fleshes out, whether it does get made, how it gets made, what the timeline for being made is. If your script isn't done, you're probably not going to start shooting. It's been done before it's done, but that's a whole other different conversation. But when the script is written, kind of helps determine, like I just talked about, whether an idea actually has feet to become a film or not yet. Because A script is more than just the dialogue. A script has all of the details needed to make this film. It gives you the beginning, the middle, the end of the story. It gives you the characters, the set pieces, the locations, so many different elements that are needed for production are made in the script. So many of those decisions are made in the script. And this is where it becomes really important to have those details worked out really well. Now, sure, everybody thinks of the director as the filmmaker at the helm, right? Like they are the ones making the key decisions to make or break a film. They are the ones that really truly are the creative driver of the film. But before they ever get to do anything with it, the screenwriter's vision is on paper. Now, you can have where a screenwriter works with a director, they collaborate, or the director is also the screenwriter. That happens a lot, and that's great. That can be great. But there is an element of the screenwriter's touch on the film throughout the whole thing. No matter what the director chooses while actually shooting the film, they are sourcing from the script. That's their starting point. They may adjust things, they may change things, they may try different things, put their own flavor on things, they may throw out pieces altogether. But their starting source is the script, which is a creation of the screenwriters. And I've heard it said before, and I believe it's true, a bad script can be really detrimental to a movie, just as much as bad directing can. Those are not mutually exclusive. Like, one does not always cancel out the other. And so want to have a strong script for a lot of reasons. On a script, you don't just have, like I said, you don't just have the dialogue, all of the other things I mentioned, right? But you use that as your tool for mapping out everything that comes after that, for knowing where things are headed with this project. And that is key. That is really, really important. So, just to wrap up this section, a lot of the film is already decided and fleshed out before you ever get on set. And really, by the end of the shooting draft of the film, I will say there can be several drafts of a script. But through that whole process, you are fleshing out those details. And so a lot of the film already is shaping up before you ever get on set. I will say, thinking back to the development stage of like a butterfly, even for a documentary, right? I'm not writing a script. I did have a document where I mapped out my idea for it, my vision for it, even though it was a documentary, and it gave it direction. Development is a quiet phase of filmmaking. There's not a whole lot to share or talk about. There's not a whole lot of concreteness to it yet, because that comes at the end of development. And the exciting part of the development phase is where you get to be creative and play with these ideas like they're Play-Doh. Like you're just molding and forming it and seeing what you can turn it into. And that's really fun. It's an important part of the process. I think one of the things I definitely saw in making Like a Butterfly was I needed that direction for my vision for it to really get off my feet and going with putting it into action. And that was important. So I will say, while development is not the flashy, exciting part, it's not the lights, camera, action, it has to happen for those parts to happen. And so it's a very, very important part of the process. In the next episode in this series, I want to do a deeper dive into the development process, into what that actually looks like, and what it takes to get to a finished script that you then can take through the rest of the filmmaking process. So if you are interested in that, make sure you're subscribed so you see when the next episode in the series comes out. If you like movies in general, that's what we talk about here on the studio sessions. So make sure you're subscribed. If you like this episode, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you share it with others. And I hope this helped give you a little bit more of an idea, pun intended, of how movies are made. I will talk to you guys next week. Bye! The Studio Sessions is a Butterfly Entertainment production. You can keep up with all of our podcasts, YouTube videos, films, and other projects on our Instagram page. We are at Butterfly Entertainment Group. Thanks for listening.